What's up, my brothers from another mother? Today's video, heading back home from the office. I got a few questions I've printed up. Going to try to knock off a few of these today. First question, I'll just read it out to you. Title from this guy, it's a topic request. I think this is a good one because it's come up a few times. He says, Alex, where the hell is he from? Doesn't say. He says, did I watch a few videos? So he goes, I'm happily married for over 10 years now and have a daughter who's 8. I say happily, I mean that we have great conversation, respectful arguing, and no bigger issues except one, the sex. This is pretty common though. This has happened a few times. First year after the baby, I was there. I was understanding and patient. Next one too, and so on and so on. She just doesn't have the need to be happy. No horniness whatsoever. I'm certainly not the best version of myself working on it, but I'm also pretty sure that I'm the guy that she married. I didn't become an alcoholic, always paid the bills, and available most of the time, so on and so forth. So I've talked about relationship equity a few times now. What you're talking about there is, I'm the guy that didn't turn into an alcoholic. I paid the bills and I was available most of the time. Those are sound bites that people use when they try to project outwardly that they are openly invested deeply in the relationship. Guys keep score differently than women. It works like this. Let's use Valentine's Day, for example. Guy buys roses, 1 point. Buys a card, another point. Sets up an arrangement for dinner, another point. Gets dressed nicely, gets whatever to get ready for the date, another point. And they'll keep points on these individual points, but women keep it differently. It's like 1 point for taking them out for Valentine's Day. Okay, so you can't ever assume that there's this point or this deposit withdrawal system that you can use under the terms of a relationship equity. It doesn't matter. Braffolt's law says very clearly that men are only useful to women so long as they're useful, essentially. So that's the first flaw that I can see in what you're writing here. Second, let me go on. Now, some months ago, I was very pushy to the point where she told me to go fuck whomever I wanted. I didn't. Later, I told her I'm here for her, and that triggered something. She never really had someone really being there for her, and so she realized how happy she was having me. And she made some effort to please me. So you got the sympathy sex, let's call it. I had this friend that told me one time that his wife would give him sex once a month. That's called sympathy sex. That's not desire. I'll talk more about that in a minute, though. So some time passed, and she started again shaming me for my desires. Well, finding moments where I was not fully attentive and therefore hurt her feelings. Now my question, is the shit already at the curb? Is there any chance that I can get this woman to respect me and my needs again? Or will she always fall back to shaving me and keep me small until I'm really ready to leave her? I can convince her by using blackmailing. I can convince her using blackmailing? Okay. If she's afraid enough to lose me, she does everything. But somehow she quickly forgets that recipe for our common luck again and looks for excuses, starts shaming and arguing again. Stupid reasoning, by the way. A blowjob takes 10 minutes, an argument takes hours. How can I make her realize what she really has? A man that has a well-paying job, no drug issues, not violent, great dad, listening, loyal, blah, 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 blah. Interesting topic. Okay. All right, let's hit the road because I got to get places. Close this over here. And so, turn that off. So, a couple things here. Again, the relationship equity thing, you mentioned it again at the end of the message that, I'm the good guy, I've done this and that, I've never let her down. These are all very needy, very beta type behaviors. They're very... Brakes always do that when they're cold in this car, and it's cold here in Toronto now. So they're very baity, they're very needy, they're very... It's not masculine energy, okay? It's not alpha energy. You've got to have game even into your married years. I mean, I wasn't married for a long time, so I can't really say, hey, I was married for 20 years, this is what you can do. I have friends that have been married for a long time, and one in particular, which I would definitely look up to and use as a model of somebody that understands how to have game in a long-term relationship and continue to create desire. Because the question that always comes up, Esther Perel talks about this in her books and her materials and her videos all the time, is how do you desire something that you already have? Because that's what you're actually saying, you've been married for a long time. How do you maintain the sexual desire when you already have somebody? How do you want to fuck somebody that you're already with? And I've said this before in videos, I'll say it again. There's a big difference between sexual intercourse or your wife giving you sex, which is the worst version of it possibly. It's like she's trying to placate you. I'll tell you a story in a minute about that. Versus proper fucking. Bent over, face in the pillow, give it to me like you own it type of sex is what I'm talking about. There's a big difference. It might sound like the same thing. Big difference. One has desire, one is a placating sort of, let me just satisfy him sort of method story. I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with women that were married or in a long-term relationship, but mostly were married over a long period of time, where they avoided to large degrees any opportunity that would put them in an environment where they would have to be intimate with their husband. They would do whatever they can or could to avoid scenarios like that. I've heard women say that they would go to the bathroom and cry after sex, or they knew every Friday night after the kids went to sleep, their partner would come to them and make advances, sexual advances obviously, to be intimate. And they would find ways to be busy or be out at a book club or reading a book. And it's like, I would hear these stories from women. Some of them, I was actually dating, and they're very sexual, very intimate with me, but so fucking low key with their partner, with their married husband, the person they're supposed to be with for the rest of their life. I mean, maintaining high desire and intimacy in a long-term relationship is difficult. You have to have game. I talk often in these videos about becoming the best version of yourself, becoming a better man. You open in your email to me something along the lines of, I'm driving right now, so I'm not going to find the piece of paper, but something along the lines of, I'm kind of working on myself. So to me, that indicates you're not the best version of yourself. I'm guessing you're probably, been married for a few years. You might have the proverbial dad bod, which, by the way, guys, is a little bullshit. One of the guys that was a speaker at the 21 convention back in September, what's his name? Ryan. I can't remember it. Anyway, but he runs the Reddit subreddit called Married Red Pill. And his entire talk was essentially based on having long-term game in a marriage or a relationship. And there's going to be times where your woman's going to decline you. She's going to say no. One of the options you have, because she presented it to you, was go fuck somebody else. At which point, this does save some marriages, believe it or not. There are people that I know, and you can read about it in a lot of Esther Perel's writings about marriage and long-term relationships and desire, that have saved their marriages by opening them up, or by giving the other partner a hall pass to do what they want just because they don't have that desire. Desire in women tanks a lot quicker in long-term relationships versus men. Go back in my videos, you'll see me. I've spoken about this before. If you take a 20-year relationship, desire in men goes down very slowly, whereas in women, it goes down very quickly. So for guys, you always have to game your wives. You can't get complacent. You can't sit on the couch and watch football, bring me a bag of chips, whatever, and just get lazy and stop dating her. You're actually going to have to do work. And this is this is a reason why a lot of guys sometimes just look at the dynamics of a long-term relationship or marriage and they say it's not worth it. Sometimes they'll, subscribe to the notion of MGTOW and not dating in long-term relationships because of the effort required to game your wife, partner, girlfriend on a long-term basis. It's not easy. It's hard. You have to do work. You have to be the best version of yourself. There's nothing that turns a woman off more than a guy that isn't. If you're rudderless in life, you don't know where you're going, you've been doing the same job for the last 10 years, nothing's changed, you haven't improved the welfare of your household, your castle, your family, your children, child, whatever, and you're still kind of like, bouncing along the bottom, there's nothing that dries a woman's pussy up more than being rudderless in your life. It's a true story. Now, guys, listen, I talk about this stuff a lot, pretty freely and openly based on my own experiences, the guys that I've coached on the Clarity platform, but I'm not a dating coach. I don't give, dating coach advice. All I do is I point to some obvious facts and connect the dots. I mean, it's not that hard for, I guess, me to see. I'll talk more about my red pill awakening in a different video. But essentially, no, it's not over. It's going to be really hard for you to fix. I suspect the juice probably won't be worth the squeeze. It's not like, if you've been in a marriage or a long-term relationship for 15 or 20 years and things have fizzled out, you're going to have to work really, really fucking hard to reignite them. And even when you do reignite them, don't expect to have the crazy monkey sex hanging from the chandelier in the dining room that you once had when you guys were dating within the first couple months. Just never even going to happen. But take it step by step, baby steps. You're going to have to game your wife. You're going to have to create desire in your wife. You're going to have to be a top shelf version of yourself. If you're out of shape, which happens to a lot of guys when, you know, they're in a long-term relationship, they get comfortable. If you're out of shape, go to the fucking gym. If you approach your wife for intimacy and she says no, have a gym bag by the front door. This is one of I think it's Ryan Stone was his name. You can look him up on Red Pill Reddit. Have your gym bag by the front door. Make a sexual advance. Try to be intimate with her. She shuts you down, that's okay. Go to the front door, get your gym bag, go to the gym and work out. Take out your frustration on the weights. There's going to be some beautiful ladies there too, right? Scenery's always good. Take it out on the weights. Pick up heavy shit and put it down. I talk about that a lot, guys. Masculinity matters for sexual attraction. It's going to take a while for you to change and reshape your outward appearance to create an extra level of desire and attraction with your woman. You're going to have to do some work. It's going to take some time. That's why I said earlier, the juice probably won't be worth the squeeze for a lot of guys. It's going to be a lot of work. So again, you know, ask yourself, are you really ready to do the work? You're going to have to do the work anyway, because if your marriage is going to end and you're going to go on the open sexual marketplace and start dating again, if you're 40 and you're gross, you know, you're not going to have much luck on the dating scene. You know, it's as simple as that. Ryan Stone put it very well in his talk during that day. He's like, you know, attraction's fairly straightforward when you've been in a long-term relationship. Be attractive, don't be unattractive. Simple as that. You know, I put it this way, don't be gross. It's as simple as that. So if she starts to notice that your level of attraction is going up and there's desire, things change in your life, you get a better job, you get a promotion, you start a business, you're successful, money starts flowing in. Again, I said earlier, nothing turns off a woman more than a rudderless man. And a lot of people get complacent in long-term relationships, and guys especially, I think in general, believe that they have some relationship equity because they've made deposits. They haven't been an abusive drug addict or alcoholic or hit their spouse, and they think that they should be entitled for regular sexual pleasure or a blowjob. Like you said a blowjob takes 10 minutes versus an argument which can take hours. I get it. You're gonna have to do some work, but look inwardly. Don't look towards her to placate you. Take a few of those tips, start working on yourself, and hopefully she comes around and comes your way. But most importantly, work on yourself so you're the best version of yourself. When you know that you're that guy, and I know you don't know that because you opened with, I'm really not, the best version of myself, some version of that. When you know that you've become the best version of yourself, and she's not coming to you and receiving that masculine energy with her feminine energy, with her beauty, obviously you're still sexually attracted to her because you still want to bang her, then that's when you can start questioning the long-term viability of the relationship that you're in. Hope that video helps. If you need some coaching along the line of that, I do that, guys. Clarity.fm/Richard Cooper. It helps support my work on the channel. Also, if you want to become a Patreon, there's always a link. It does help support my work. I put out premium content there every single month. There's tiers. Link for that is also in the description below. Thanks for watching today's video. Smash the like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Tell the community, guys, what it is that you've done to help game your wife or maintain desire in a long-term relationship. If you've got some tricks of the trade or something I might have missed. See you in the next video. Talk to you later. Peace.